Madam Chair, the President of the United States has never worked in our economy. Those are facts. That's not about decorum. That's the truth of the matter. He has never worked a day in our economy. He's always worked in Washington, D.C. To point out that fact and to illustrate the fact that we're talking about major economic policies that do impact the 31 million small business owners in our country is not about decorum. I didn't trash the man.
Your time.
Speaking of the 31 million small businesses in our country are less than 100 employees. Obviously, that is true. But the other truth is that with the OSHA mandate, which is unconstitutional, by the way, this OSHA vaccine mandate being pushed by the administration, which started at 100 employees, the administration's already signaled that they want to push it to all small businesses, not just stopping at those with 100. So let's be very clear for the record what the intention of Joe Biden and his presidency is. I actually want to thank the Fifth Circuit and the other courts that have struck down that mandate because it is unconstitutional. Congress never gave OSHA any authority whatsoever to tell employers what they must require employees to inject into their body. We have such a thing called HIPAA in the United States. It's surprising to me that we have forgotten our HIPAA laws, considering with the fact that we're largely dealing with COVID-19 in the best possible ways. Secondarily, I think it's also important to note that any president that has the authority to make you take an injection is, frankly, a totalitarian president, and that flies in the face of our Constitution, the way it is written, the way it was drafted, the way it was conceived, even the very framework of our nation. So it's unconstitutional. That thing's going to go away. Hopefully the courts continue to do that and the Supreme Court follows suit in short order. Real quick, Administrator Guzman, thanks so much for coming. Do appreciate you being here. You mentioned earlier you believe inflation is pandemic induced. Do you hold the view that it is purely pandemic induced? Can you explain that?
I am relying on our economists who are sharing with us that, and most agree that the pandemic is causing these supply chain disruptions globally.
Do you think it's that the pandemic is causing it, or do you believe that it is now work-related issues associated with massive social spending and also in conjunction with environmental policy in the state of California, which has made it harder for truckers to access the ports of Long Beach and Los Angeles?
The pandemic is underlying all of the inflation, yes.
Is there any reason why the social spending that, frankly, this Congress and this president started back in February, if we did not actually continue that social spending, do you think that we would have employees basically sitting at home or taking less hours?
What I'm hearing from small businesses, and I'm not sure what you're hearing in your district, but that their workers are staying out because of care issues, because of healthcare concerns, because there also was, you know.
So, quick question. So, when a local 7-Eleven down the street from my house has in the window that they want to give somebody a $500 signing bonus to come to work, that's because they're concerned about care issues, or is it because they're concerned about money? Or is that there is now a bargaining chip from the federal government that gives them more money than actually going in and taking more hours at work? Which one is it?
What I was about to say as well is the final thing is, you know, what I heard recently when I was convening a group of resource partners at the Institute for Veterans and Military Families, that there's this great resignation as well, and people are shifting careers. So these are the more dominant factors that are affecting our workforce. And yes, they're in control in terms of you know, the opportunity that they have to demand higher wages.
Let me ask you this question, because I know you said earlier you support, obviously, the budget reconciliation package, Build Back Better, Build Back Broke. You know, everybody likes their little acronyms. So come on, this thing's building us back broke. You can acknowledge that, but I digress. Do you think that the social spending aspects of that bill will make it easier or harder for small business owners to find employees?
I think actually it'll make it easier, and there are key investments within the Build Back Better you know, framework that involve workforce development, apprenticeships,
and
as well as
administrator. I almost gave you a title increase. Administrator. Can we honestly have a conversation and sit here that if you do something like child tax credit, which will give people $300 per child, that's going to make it easier for them to go back to work? Or is it going to make it harder? Is it going to make an economic decision where they're going to make the choice of, you know what, maybe I don't need the additional 5 hours? If you cascade that through an economy across the 31 million small businesses in the United States, do you think it's going to be easier or harder for small businesses to staff their companies in order to be effective for their customers?
As President Biden says, we
all know President Biden doesn't know much about the economy.
We can't bet against the American people and workers who want to work, who want to have the protections that in place and the care for their elders or for their children.
Administrator Guzman, the President of the United States has never worked a day in his life outside of Washington, D.C. You've done more than he has. Come on now. You were a small business owner. If the federal government was providing outsized spending that competed directly with your ability to pay people to come to work, do you think it would make it harder for you as a small business owner, which you were, not an administrator now in the administration? Would it make it easier or harder for you to keep people under your employ?
Again, these investments in Build Back Better will strengthen our
And I would,
workforce. And
if you
our-
excuse me,
apologies.
the quorum is important in this committee. And
Madam
the
Chair, I was just
respecting
referring to the
of the
president.
United States is part of that.
Madam Chair, the President of the United States has never worked in our economy. Those are facts. That's not about decorum. That's the truth of the matter. He has
You
never
should
worked a
respect
day
the
in our economy.
institution.
He's always worked in Washington, D.C. To point out that fact and to illustrate the fact that we're talking about major economic policies that do impact the 31 million small business owners in our country is not about decorum. I didn't trash the man.
Your
I'm saying I'm
time-
speaking facts.
If you enjoyed this video, hit like and subscribe to our channel so you'll be sure to see similar videos from Blaze TV with the added bonus of signaling YouTube that your voice and opinion still matters. And if you're looking for more great conservative content, check out one of the 2 videos suggested here.